Yeah, right. So when I say these people are lunatics, I mean I'm not exaggerating. And these people are absolutely lunatics, right? Well, what does it mean, right? And this is 100% fitting, right? So the word lunatic comes from the Latin lunaticus, meaning moonstruck, right? Luna, the lune, the moon, right? So in medieval times, it was believed that the phases of the moon caused madness or irrational behavior. Over time, the word came to mean someone whose thinking was detached from reality, someone acting irrationally, dangerously, or without moral grounding. We certainly see that. So the the people see. It's not just Dr. Michelle Dove that is, a lunatic, but everybody around her, including her customers, that are lunatics. They're detached from reality. So she knows the truth, right? Don't for a minute eh, eh, underestimate the evil nature of this crime, right? She knows for 100% certain that this birth control pill does not actually prevent the conception, right? It does not. It doesn't prevent a pregnancy, right? It never did, right? So it causes early abortion, right? So she knows that, but what we see here is that she's the one that's acting dangerously and without moral grounding, right? A true criminal, like the true criminal, right? Um, but her customers are just they are detached from the reality of the situation. It could be because of the breach of fiduciary duty, or that trust there between the doctor and the patient, or it could just be because it is implied that it prevents the pregnancy and all this. But it could be because of the whatever it doesn't matter why, right? But we do see that they are detached from the reality, right? The reality of the situation is, this young lady here that is taking birth control pills will get pregnant, right? And the baby will be, it's a three-person team. Like I said, it's the baby, the mom, and the dad, right? The baby, mommy, and daddy. That's the three-person team. And because of these pills that Dr. Michel Dow is pushing, right? Um, and the baby will die at the early, very natural, very healthy stage of implantation, right? So when you apply the word lunatic to abortionists and family doctors, the most disgusting, most perverse use of this word, your family, right? Family doctors, yeah, right. So when you apply the word lunatic to abortionists and family doctors who push birth control pills, it fits in a deeper moral sense, right? They are detached from reality. To say a conceived human being is not a human life is a denial of biological fact. The denial is not rational. It is a kind of madness, a refusal to see what is plainly true. And I don't believe for a minute that they actually think that this conceived, the zygotic genome activation, the rapidly progressing, the morula state, the blastocyst, sorry, the blastocyst, the morula stage, the embryo. This is all parts of developing human, and they know full well. But who knows and who doesn't know, who's acting in a guilty mind, right? Who's the guilty mind? Well, that person is Dr. Michelle Dunn. She knows she has a guilty mind. That is the mens rea, and they, of course, the guilty act, right? Signing that prescription pad, right? But the guilty mind is there, right? She knows 100%, right? So that's why the word lunatic here is very, very fitting. Not in the sense that she doesn't know she's detached from reality, but the fact that it is an absolute madness how evil she could be, right? It's nobody's that evil. I didn't believe so until my own cousin here, is doing this kind of stuff. Dangerous irrationality. So these doctors normalize killing while cloaking it in a medical terminology. They call killing health care and early abortion contraception. That inversion of truth is lunacy. Moral blindness. The true madness here is not a clinical mental disorder, but a moral one. Right? The inability or refusal to recognize right from wrong, life from death, in a child from a clump of cells or a tissue, or it's not a child, it's a parasite. I've heard all kinds of weird, nutty arguments, and you can quickly debunk these kind of. You can quickly dispel these arguments nonsense arguments. And no, 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 no. I will just continue in my bubble. But don't get me wrong, right? So everybody below Dr. Michel Dow, they're just living detached. They are detached from reality, as we can see here. These people, whose thinking was detached. Someone to me whose thinking was detached from reality. So that's what we see here. Everybody except Dr. Michel Dow. But Dr. Michel Dow herself is not. She's thinking very, very clearly. She understands what she's doing. Right? There's no, implantation is the starting of a pregnancy. No, not in her mind. That's what she's going to push. She's going to push that knowing full well that what she's saying is a lie. Right? Knowing full well that what she's saying is a lie, and knowing that this will deceive the victim, or a patient. It's not a patient; it's a victim. Will deceive the young lady, right? And convince her to say, "Hey, I can engage in promiscuity and debauchery if I take these pills." Right? So it's sick. It's really twisted here. Mm. Number four, social danger. In history, people called lunatics were. This is the new. I think it's with a K, right? Lunatic, right? Lunatics. It is with a K, actually. That's the old English way of saying it. It could be with a C in modern English here, but lunatic with a K, right? Isn't that? Yeah, right. Lunatic is. I don't know. It's could be somebody else's opinion. Doesn't have a K or whatever, but it doesn't matter, right? The word lunatic, right? People called lunatics were considered dangerous because their irrational actions harmed others. Today, the irrationality of abortionists harms the most vulnerable, defenseless children. Absolutely. And the entire society, right? So in its older, truest sense, lunatic it describes not just someone who is mentally unwell, but someone who so cut off from reality and reason that their actions are destructive to society by denying the humanity of the developing child and pushing pills that kill him or her before implantation. These doctors fit that description 100%. Not only the doctors, but the patients, right? The unwitting victims, right, of this monstrosity that is happening, right? So the only reason is because they are not only deceived, but they are living in a bubble that they refuse to push, right? They refuse to push. They are detached from reality, but it's also a type of evil, like it's a kind of madness, right? It really is a madness, right? What is this? What is actually going on? It's the greatest crime ever. Like there's, you know, one one woman, right? That I'm a doctor and I got a PhD and I'm a champion for women's rights and all this, kills literally like 1,000. I'm not even joking. Like in excess of 1,000 children. Like in excess of 1,000 children. Can you? I mean, can you imagine such a thing? This is lunacy. What I'm describing here that is actually happening is lunacy, but it is happening, and it's so fantastically frightening and horrendous. It's truly mind-boggling how the bubble the bubble that they cannot get out of. It's like some sort of mind control or kind of witchcraft, a spell, right? There's casting spell. Why can I see it so plainly? Why can I see this so plainly? And I make all these kinds of videos, and anybody in the world can see this video because it's on a public platform like YouTube or whatever platform you're viewing this on. But they cannot, right? They cannot see. I got some viewers from Canada, and they just view it for like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and then they click away to Disney and Netflix and all this stuff. They cannot handle this information because it bursts their bubble. Oh no, the bubble, the comfortable liquid of the bubble. What was another comfortable liquid of a bubble here was the amniotic fluid, right? The amniotic fluid, right? And that baby did not deserve to have the amniotic fluid ruptured and violently taken out piece by piece, right? Surgical abortions it truly is wrong, but this here is no different, right? Early abortion caused by birth control pills. It's the same thing. It is just as violent. Thank you very much for tuning in. So we're talking about the word lunatic, right? And this kind of absolute nonsense. These people are lunatics, and what they are doing is lunacy. Absolutely right. This is not right. The baby boy, baby girl, is healthy, and the pregnancy is viable, and you're going to kill this baby and call it healthcare? No. excuse me, like what you're doing is wrong. It is wrong. It is lunacy.